and welcome to our session today. So equipment wise, if you have a strap handy and use it for forward folds, please go and grab one. And also if you do have a block or something similar to this, this might be useful. We're going to be doing our lizard pose today, and sometimes it can help if you're not quite down there on the floor, you're a little bit sort of half and half. It can help bridge that gap for you. So if you have this equipment and you usually find these helpful, then please grab them for today's class. Let's get started then, shall we? So you may be happy to hear we'll be starting on our backs today. So bringing yourself back, laying however is comfortable to you as always. Let's settle ourselves. Let's take a few moments just to slow it all down. Soften the shoulders, let them fall into the mats. Releasing the jaw, so making sure those molars aren't stuck together, finding that gap between them. We're going to do a little breathing exercise together now. So we're going to inhale for the count of 7. We're just going to hold for the count of 1 or 2 at the top, and then exhale for the count of 7. So please let the breath fill all of the count. So don't rush to get to the top and then hold your breath for longer. We want to fill it for that lovely count. So we'll do a few. So let's begin. Let's in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hold. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, in. Hold. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again, in. And hold. And out. And again, in. And hold. And out. Couple more times, in. Hold. And out. Last time, in. And hold. And out. Big inhale. Out through the mouth. And coming back to the breath now. So we want to keep hold of that length of the breath that we created. Maybe not for the count of 7, but maybe around the count of 5 or 6. Equal inhale, equal exhale. Keeping your eyes closed if you wish. Now we're going to bring both knees into the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze. Maybe roll on the spine if it feels good. And keeping hold of the right shin, we're going to extend out through the left leg. So extending the gap between the toes and the knee, stretching out. So we're going to let that right knee just slip off of the chest slightly, so it's moving towards the armpit, just to find a greater stretch there through the hip. And then keeping hold of this right knee just with one hand this time, we're going to make just circles, doesn't matter which way you start with. So finding the range of motion through the hip. And then working the other way. And resting, coming into recline pigeon now. So we're going to bend this left leg, bring the foot onto the floor, and then hook the right ankle over the knee. So set yourself up as always, flexing through the foot, pressing the knee away. This may be enough for this stretch. Just pressing the knee away, finding that stretch through the right thigh, or to take it deeper, grab hold of the left thigh, squeezing it in towards the body, but keeping the form so the foot flexes, the knee moves away. You can also grab hold of the shin if it's easier, if you find a better stretch this way. And resting down through that left leg. So keeping hold of the right knee, squeezing that in, we're going to extend the left leg out again. And we're going to come into a twist now. So this right knee is going to come over to the left, and the right arm is going to go out 90 degrees. Take your gaze to follow. So you want to keep your shoulders touching the ground during this pose. The knee isn't likely to go all the way down to the floor. Again, you're trying to find that stretch through the side of the body, through the thigh. And bringing ourselves up to centre. Both knees in to meet. Give yourself a little squeeze again. And let's do all of that on the other side. So keeping hold of the right knee this time, extending out. Sorry, keeping hold of the left knee, extending out through the right leg. So extending the space between knee and foot. And then let the knee just slip off the chest, finding a bit of space there through the hip. And then let's find those hip circles again. So taking that knee round one way. Like I said, it doesn't really matter which way you start with. And then working around the other way. And resting, coming into reclined pigeon. So we're going to bend the right knee, hook that left ankle over the knee, flex the foot, knee moves away, taking how you feel. Do I want to take this deeper? If so, you've got the thigh or grabbing hold of the shin as an option. Keeping that left foot flexed, the knee moving away. The head is on the ground, the gaze is up. Breathing into that stretch. And resting. That right foot down. We're going to take hold again of that left leg and extend out through the right, coming into our twist again. So grabbing hold of the knee with the right hand, pulling over to the right, and the left arm extends out 90 degrees. Your gaze goes over to follow. So shoulders on the ground. If you don't have room, you can always bend the elbow instead into like a bit of a cactus arm, if that's easier with the space that you have available. Coming back to centre, taking a big old squeeze in again. And then rolling ourselves up to seated. Taking our hand onto our knees, a few rounds of seated cat-cow. So pressing into the knees, inhale, lift chest, shoulders back, flicking up through the tailbone. And exhale, concave, sucking the belly button in. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Feeling that stretch across the top of the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bringing ourselves back to neutral, coming into a bit of a side neck stretch now. So taking the right fingertips onto the ground, stretching out through the left arm. So press through the heel of the hands, and then we're going to take the right ear down to the right shoulder. So I know I say it every time, but it's not shoulder to ear, it's ear down to shoulder. You are highly unlikely to get the two to meet. So find some extension through the neck. So you feel that stretch from the earlobe going down through the shoulder. And lifting up, going through the other side. So left fingertips pressing out through the right arm. So press through the heel of the hand and then take the left ear down to the left shoulder. So you're likely to feel differences each side. Bringing ourselves up to neutral. Taking our hands onto the knees, a few shoulder rolls, so lifting with the shoulders and rolling them back, up and back. And forward we go. And resting. We're going to take ourselves straight into boat pose now. So finding the balance on the tailbone, taking hold of the back of the knees, chest up. So you want those calves parallel with the ground. If you want to release the hands, then do, but keep the form. So we're all going to release our arms now and go into low boat. So just extend and lower as much as you can control. Embrace that wobble. Lifting yourselves back up, feet planted, hold onto the shins, lift. Taking the shoulders back. 2 more times. Find your boat. Release now in a second when I give the word. Release, let's lower. Lifting back up, feet planted, whole shins, lift, shoulders back. Last time, find our boat. Release, control. Only come down as much as you can control. Lifting up. Feet planted, hold shins, lift. We're going to take the knees in and come onto our backs now. A little roll again. And now we're going to try and roll ourselves onto our knees. So either just coming over to the side, or giving yourself a little roll onto our knees. Finding our way into our tabletop. So we're going to do 2 more cat-cow here, then we're going to move into a few more poses. So inhale, head up, tailbone up. And then exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Coming to neutral. Right arm out, left leg out. So nice long straight line. Taking the gaze through the right fingertips. I want to take everything out about 45 degrees. Bring yourselves back through centre. Take both hands down, bend the back knee and lifting up with the heels. So try and keep the hips level and just take the hip up. Sorry, take the foot up. And releasing down. Maybe just a little twist from side to side. Ready for the other side. So left arm, right leg. Long line. Out 45. through center. Both hands down, taking the right heel up now to the sky. Releasing down, getting a little twist from side to side, rolling back into child, so bum down, pressing out through the fingertips. If you found you've lost connection with the breath, then just gently guide yourself back. And again here. So we're going to come forward and slide onto our bellies, ready for our Sphinx pose. So forearms parallel with the side of the mat. You can drop your head to begin. And then press into the ground with our forearms, head up, shoulders back. And releasing down. And we're going to move into that pose again, so pressing into the ground and lift. And now there's an option of taking the legs up as well. So pressing the left thigh down, we're going to lift up through the right leg. Keeping the breath long and controlled. And lowering down, lifting it through the other. And lowering down. We're going to pull back again into child, so coming onto the knees, falling back. Remember, you can keep the knees together here or separate them, whatever works for you. And coming back on to our hands and our knees, setting ourselves up for puppy pose this time. So lifting up through the bum. Hands come forward. You want to gently start bringing the chest down towards the mat. So stop if you feel any discomfort, or just drop on your head if your chest isn't quite there yet. So we're trying to surrender as much as we can here. So if you're comfortably down here, you might want to hook the chin and take your gaze forward. If not, we're resting on our forehead. Lifting up slightly and then pulling all the way forward, back onto our bellies, head down onto the mat. Fingertips either side of the mat now, elbows facing up. And we're going to do a few rounds of like a little flowing cobra pose. So pressing into the ground with your fingertips, we're going to lift ourselves up. Straighten the arms as much as you comfortably can, or take the fingertips forward if it's a bit tough on the spine. And then we're going to bring ourselves back down, belly first and then the chest. And then the head, and then lifting back up, so lifting, head coming up last, and then belly down, rolling ourselves back down to the mat again, lift, and rolling back down. Last time, inhale, exhale. Sliding ourselves back into child's. And then moving back on to our hands and our knees. So we're going to take the right heel back up to the sky now. So if this feels enough, we're just going to stay here. If you want to take it a bit deeper, then we're going to take the left hand around, grab hold of the top of the foot. Foot presses into the hand. It lifts up and away. So you want to keep the chest open here. Avoid collapsing through that front arm in the chest. Another breath. And then bringing it down. Little twist side to side. Let's go on the other side. So lifting it through the left. Deciding where we're going. Are we staying here? Are we taking it deeper? Reaching around with the other hand if we are. Holding onto the top of the foot, pressing up and lifting it up and away. Finding that stretch there through the shoulders. And lowering down, little twist. And let's come into down dog, tucking those toes, lifting up, little bit of a pedal through here. Little motion through the ankles, just settle yourselves, move as you need. And when you're ready, settling in our downward facing dog. So rolling those shoulders outwards, so you're turning the biceps up. Feet about hip distance apart. Bend your knees if you find all the weight. It's all here. If you're moving forward, if your back is curled, bend the knees and drop yourself back. Connect back with the breath. In our downward dog, really focus on taking the breath into the back part of our body, so the back of the lungs. Stepping or walking forward to the front of the mat. As always, little ragdoll. Little sway from side to side. And remember, the option's always there to bend the knees here too. And gently inhale. All the way up we come. Hands down by our side. Bringing ourselves into our mountain pose. So let's take a couple of breaths together. And exhale. One more time, settling. And exhale. So we're going to inhale, raise the arms. This time we're going to exhale, bringing them behind and take the feet about hip distance apart. Interlace the fingers, palms together, extend the arms, lift the chest. Take another inhale here. And then exhale, hinging at the hips. Taking the head down towards the shins and taking that fist overhead. So we want to try and connect those ribs with the top of the thighs. Try and let those shoulders surrender as much as you can, allowing that fist just to fall forward towards the ground in front of you. We're going to inhale, come up now. Come up to stand and then release the hands, taking ourselves up a little bit more. And then exhale, forward fold, now reaching down towards the ground with our hands. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, stepping back into our plank pose, shoulders over wrists, come to the knees if we need. Inhale at the top. Exhale. Inhale, lift, open the chest. And then exhale, downward facing dog, making that adjustment again. So we're going to inhale, lift our right leg up into three-leg dog. Take a breath here. And stepping it forward to the front of the mat, coming into a high lunge, lifting up through the arms, sinking down into the hips. So we're going to take the palms together. We're going to bend at the elbows. You want to almost press the little finger side of our hands together and lift up through the elbows. Find the chest lifts. Lifting the hands back up, and we're going to gently drop that back knee down. Separate the hands and then take the weight forward. Shoulders falling away from the ears, finding that little scoop again. And taking our low lunge deeper if we want to. So we're here, or we're bending the back heel, or we're taking that left hand down to the ground. I can't find my foot. Grab hold of the foot. And then squeezing that heel in towards the bum. Keep the weight moving forward though, whichever one you decide to do. And lowering down. Taking both hands there. And then stepping back into downward facing dog. Movement if you need. Connect back with the breath, the in. And exhale. Other side, lifting it through the left leg. 3-leg dog. Stepping forward, high lunge, hooking the back toes. Lifting up through the arms. So let the weight sink. So really work into those hip flexors and the hips. And then bring the hands together. Bend at the elbows, pressing the little finger sides of your hands together and lifting up through the elbows. Let the chest, this part of the chest lift up a bit more. Extending the arms, lowering the knee, hands separate. Really let the weight sink forward. So we're going to go through those options again. We're either hanging out here, bending the knee, or taking it deeper. Really take it into a deep quad stretch here. So taking the heel in towards the bum as we move forward. Lowering down, framing the foot and back into downward dog. Take a breath. Stepping back to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, take our hands to the lower part of our spine. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Taking that, bend a little bit deeper if you can. Back to centre. Releasing our hands by our side, taking a breath. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, taking them behind again. Interlace fingers, palms together. Extend up. Pull back slightly. Bring in the feet about hip distance apart. Inhale. And then exhale, let's dive down. Coming back into that forward fold here for a few breaths. Again, connecting those ribs with the top of the thighs. Weight slightly into the balls of the feet. So inhale, coming back up, keeping hold of the hands until we stand, and then releasing, lifting the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, step or jump back, finding your plank pose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale at the top. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up through the right leg, 3-leg dog again. Stepping forward to the front of the mat, high lunge. Lifting up through the arms. Let the weight sink. And then releasing the hands behind us, interlace again, palms together. Find that extension through the arms, inhale. Humble warrior, shoulder down to the knee, lifting up through the fists. Inhale, lift to straighten. Release the hands. Hands into prayer and gentle back bend here if it feels okay. Letting the weight sink down a little bit more. You can always stay neutral with the spine if that works better for you today. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Downward facing dog. Lifting it through the left leg, 3-leg dog. Stepping forward, high lunge, hooking the toes, lifting up through the arms. And then bringing the hands behind into lacing. Extend. Inhale. Exhale, shoulder down to the knee. Inhale, lifting, releasing the hands and gentle back bend. Inhale, back to neutral. Exhale, releasing into the hips a little bit more. Inhale. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting it through the right leg, 3-leg dog. Coming into a low lunge now, so foot to the front of the mat, lowering the back knee. So we're going to keep the left hand onto the ground, right hand on the inside of the knee, and pressing it away, extending through that arm. Bringing ourselves back to neutral. So we're going to take ourselves back into a low lunge. We're going to work through some options again. So we're here, bending the back knee, or we're going to grab hold of that back foot again. So if you've got a comfortable hold of that back foot, then we're going to open that knee without our hand against it this time. So taking the knee open, letting the foot curl up at the same time. And as I do this, I'm sinking my weight forward a little bit more. So I'm going to find a little bit of a twist through the hips. Coming back to neutral, releasing that foot down. Taking a breath. So we're going to take the right foot out towards the edge of the mat now and set ourselves up for our lizard pose. So this is where your block will come in if we're sort of not quite at the floor yet and we need a little bit of assistance. So bring that back knee back as far as it will comfortably go. The knee wants to be tracking over this front ankle. So weight sinking forward again. You can be on your fingertips, be on your hands, or if you're able to work down all the way onto your forearms. If you're not quite there, bring your block or a massive book or something into the equation. So if you find that your foot's curling open and your knees curling out, let me come this way to show you. So if you find that you're doing this, then you may need to take the foot out just a little bit more to line yourself up properly. So avoid that. Just adjust the foot and sink yourself down from there. So whether on our hands, the block, or all the way down to the ground, we're going to take our weight into our left arm or forearm, twist towards the bent knee and open up through the right arm. So lifting it up towards the sky. And bringing it gently back down. Moving back into downward dog nice and carefully. With a little bit of a tread now through the legs. And let's work through the other side now. So lifting up through the left and coming forward into that low lunge, dropping the back knee. So to start, we're taking the left hand on the inside of the knee and pressing it away, curling the foot up as we go. Coming back to centre. Coming into the low lunge. Working through our options again. We're here, or coming back to grabbing hold of that back foot. Hand on the ground, squeezing it in. So if we're here comfortably, again, we're going to take this front leg. So the knee is going to open up. The foot's going to curl with it. So I'm coming forward and twisting as I'm coming into the pose. So it's quite a deep stretch. Okay, so be gentle with yourself. Remember, there's all those other options before we get to this point. And releasing, dropping the foot down. Let's lizard it now. So taking the foot further out towards the edge of the mat. Can that back knee go any further back? Really sink the weight into the hips. Let's take a breath. And take it deeper if we can. So hands, fingertips, forearms, or use the block. Gently lifting. Oh, actually no, I'm telling a lie. We're going to go into a bit of a twist. So pressing the weight into the right forearm or hand, turning towards the knee, opening up through the left arm. So make sure you have your full breaths here. It's another really intense pose. So it's really easy to hold our breath. Taking the hands back down. And let's work our way back into downward facing dog. Nice and gently. Again, you're in your own house right now. Make as many noises as you want after that pose. It always feels so good in downward dog after a lizard. Connecting back with the breath. And coming down onto our knees now and just lifting ourselves up. So we're going to take ourselves into a camel pose now. So if you know you don't have deep flexibility within sort of the hips, these hip flexors or through the spine, then you want to come onto your toes. If you know camel and if you've done it before and you know you're going to feel okay on the top of the feet, then please start here. So we're going to do one side and then the other to start, just to warm ourselves into it. So we're going to take this right hand and bring it on to the right heel. So once you're there, hips forward, chest up, left arm up and back. So keep your hips moving this way. Avoid sort of coming back and collapsing down into this pose. We're going to lift ourselves up gently now and work onto the other side. So left hand onto left heel. Hips forward, chest up, arms over. If you're finding it's comfy here, remember you can in the pose just come down onto the top of the feet. So this is taking the floor further away from you, taking the pose a little bit deeper. And gently lifting ourselves up. Let's take a breath. So if that felt enough, then we're going to do one side and then the other again. If that felt all right and we're liking it, then we're going to take both hands back and do the full camel pose now. So full camel, we're taking both hands back. You don't have to do them both at the same time. You can do one and then the other. And then hips forward, chest. Take the neck long if it feels okay. If not, keeping the chin to the chest here. Just keep forward with the hips, chest up. If you prefer though, then one hand. Let's take a few counts here. I will tell you when to change. So moving on to the other side. If we're doing one and then the other. Those in full camel, keep your breath flowing. Come out of it at any point you need to. And then lifting ourselves up. Everyone out of it, and then gently find ourselves into a nice child's pose. So opening the knees, settling ourselves back, pressing the fingertips forward, head down to the mat. A few more breaths. Downward facing dog, lifting up, hooking the toes. Finding that lovely center point with this pose. So as though it doesn't always feel like that sometimes, certainly when you're beginning with yoga, downward dog is a resting pose, as is child's pose. So just find that right place for you. Bending the knees if we need. And bringing ourselves onto the floor now. We're going to extend out through the legs. Taking both hands by our side, moving into our Dandasana pose. So we're just going to take some breaths, hold this pose. So pressing into the ground with the palms. We're going to extend shoulders away from the ears and really activate the legs. So it might be that your heels lift off the ground. If that happens, then let it happen as long as it's not uncomfortable. So making a strong L shape. Keep the breath. So in this stillness, we gently take hold of that attention again. Focus on taking the breath through the whole of the lungs. Not just the top part of our chest, but all from the bottom, the middle, all the way up. Feeling the top of the back body expand. And releasing. Coming into a forward fold now. So this is where your strap comes in. If you have one and need one. If not, lifting up through the arms. Forward we go. We're going to take our hands over the top of the feet if you can reach. We can take our fingertips either side and creep ourselves forward, or using the strap, we're going to hook them round our feet. So if you've got hold of your feet, or if you've got the strap, remember we're going to take that extension. So I'm going to come to the side to show you. So from here, lift. Find that lovely straightness in the spine, and then use your elbows. We're pulling ourselves along the length. Ribs over thighs. Bringing ourselves long, long, long. Keeping an eye on where we're going. We're going to the toes. A few more breaths here. And lifting up, coming into a bit of a twist to taking the right foot over the left thigh. We're going to reach round, grabbing hold of the thigh with the left hand, squeezing in, right hand behind. So if you're feeling pretty comfortable here, you can always bend the bottom leg as well, drawing ourselves in this way. If the balance is tough, then just take that leg back straight again. Bringing ourselves through center, releasing, extending out through the legs. So we're going to do either reverse plank or reverse tabletop now. So our reverse plank is the legs long. Reverse tabletop is bent knees. That's the variation to this pose. So the hands come back, lifting the hips up, toes to the ground, or moving towards that way. If we're coming into the full pose, the variation, if that doesn't feel accessible today, we bend the knees, keep pressing into the ground, taking the hips up. So it doesn't matter which way your fingers are pointing as long as you feel okay through the wrists. Another couple of breaths. And lowering ourselves back down, extending out through the legs. We're going to go back into another forward fold. So lifting up, taking the hands over the feet, using the straps or using the hands either side of your legs. Extend the spine. And then draw yourselves along the length of the mat. Inhale, let's gently lift. Let's hook over the left leg now. So squeezing it in. So remember, if you want to take that bottom leg in as well, then you can do. We're going to wrap the right arm around the thigh this time, taking the left one back. So extend the spine, squeeze that knee in, and then take our gaze behind us. And gently unhooking. We're going to do one last reverse plank or reverse tabletop. So bend knees or straight legs, hands behind. Inhale, taking those hips up, toes to the ground. If you're doing the full pose, if you want to take the neck back, then do, just keep the chin towards the chest. Keep breathing. And lowering ourselves down. Coming now onto our backs. We're going to squeeze the knees in towards the chest. Little roll on the spine, side to side. Just gently roll ourselves up to seated, resting the hands just gently on the knees. Take a big deep inhale. Just hold at the top and exhale. And again in. Hold. And exhale. Last time. Exhale. Drawing your hands to prayer. Namaste to you all. Thank you very much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed. Now please enjoy a nice long Shavasana. So bringing yourself onto the mat, resting your hands wherever feels good. Just take note of those shoulders again. Adjust yourself as you need. Let them fall into the mat. Our jaw removed with any tension. And as always, just reclining now into that lovely space that we've created for ourselves.